Hello, are you out there? It's Mark with Redo Over, and we are back to our Stellaris Vanilla, no DLC, in-depth playthrough tutorial. So I'm learning a bit more about the game as I play, and hopefully if you are new to Stellaris, this will help you kind of understand the game and maybe get sort of a handle on what DLC you might want to jump into in the future. But when you're buried with 25 DLC options and you don't want to drop $300 on all of them, yeah, that's why it's nice to learn just how the game works just by itself in the current version and give you an idea what else is available. It's hard to sort through all the layers, what comes from where, but this way you can see what the base of the game is and then know what you want to add on top. Hopefully that's the idea. I'm no expert, but I say we've got three groups right now of science ships merged with their construction ships. So we have the UNS, oh my gosh, Solovovsky at the Demon's Maw with their constructor. We just finished at Procyon, and the Gagarin is moving on to the Mayor Star, and we have the Darwin at Ejok. So they're doing their surveying, and obviously, if we find a decent habitable world candidate, we would build up a colony ship and send them off. But right now, we don't even have a colony ship in production. So we may want to get that going, but let's run the clock forward here. We'll run forward at fast speed, and once we get our eyes on a new habitable planet, then we'll start constructing that colony ship. It's kind of how I would figure we do it. Otherwise, Earth just finished a building. What did they just finish there? The Autochthon Monument? Yeah. Let's hit a pause real quickly before we roll around to the next month. We picked that up because we wanted to get more Unity. This is a great product for Unity. In particular, since we've been picking up scientist leaders, each leader has a 2 Unity maintenance per turn. And that quickly eats into your Unity growth. Now, we are very close here on our finishing our expansion tree. You can see we're just months away. So that's awesome. And I just wanted to see, I'm going to switch down to population. Did we pick up those jobs? What would those be called? Entertainer? No. Enforcer? No. Whoa. That's weird. Whoa. Culture workers. They're just culture workers. Oh, I was looking for priests. Hold on. That does mean that they're right there. Okay, so each of these culture workers gives us plus 10% to the governing ethics attraction, minus 2% to housing usage. Is that both together or individual? Here, I do want to be clear on that. Right here, we'll mouse over one. It is minus 2% per. They produce 9.6 Unity. They give you a little bit of extra trade value. Cultural ethics attraction, minus 2% to housing pop usage, and minus 1.25% to consumer upkeep. Is that? Yeah, pop upkeep. So that's consumer goods. Yeah, okay. Those are very small amounts, but all the little percentages really matter in Stellaris. So it seems like nothing, but you're actually getting quite a bit for culture workers. Now, I wouldn't go and chase after too many culture workers because that's not like it's an empire-wide. It's just small reductions on this planet. So if you were like, oh my gosh, I'll get 10 culture workers somehow. I don't know if you could. You can only get one of the monuments per world. But and you're like, I'll drive down pop housing usage by 20%. Well, you're going to be losing so many other things you'd be producing by having a ton of culture workers. Probably not worth it. But ultimately, what they should be doing is getting us a boatload of monthly Unity, and they are. So I will take that for now, and let's just run the clock forward. I see we do have a fair amount of energy. We may want to look into spending some of that energy, maybe building up our rare resources like alloys on the market, potentially. So we've discovered a new archaeological site. Excellent. Let's take a look down here at Ejok, right there. Archaeological site. You can see the symbol has appeared, and we will click on the icon here. So under the ice, the vast frozen wastelands of Ejok XA were once seas spread atop an abundance of deep volcanic canyons. Though the environment is no longer capable of supporting life, we have detected the ruins of ancient submarine settlements in icebound trenches close to the planet's surface. Well, I would say under the surface of the planetary ice, like close to the crust. Yeah. All right. So over here on this side, we have 90 days to do the first phase of excavation. So 3 months. That's not bad. The difficulty is only a 2. No skill bonuses, no clues. Now, we do not have a scientist assigned to excavating. Could we hire a scientist? Could we hire a scientist that's an archaeologist and could speed this process? Let's see here. Let's just jump into our leaders tabs. If we want to bite the bullet. We're actually maxed out on our scientists, unfortunately. So this is tricky because, listen, we have to have one of our scientists on the council to direct scientific research. We have multiple science ships, and we potentially could have someone working on archaeology. We need to find a way to get more scientist leaders if we want to do more. So right now we are quite limited. I can see here that the 3 scientists we have, Herman has expertise in biology research, and I believe he is head of research right now. You can see there. He also has intuition, which makes him good at anomaly research speed. That's not archaeology, though. We have Jessica, who is on the Darwin. She has survey speed increase, which is good because she's doing a lot of surveying. And finally, we have Kangzu, who's on the Russian name ship. I'm going to stop trying to say that. And he just lives longer. So none of these people are suitable for archaeology. And I don't think that's a problem right now. Doing the archaeology site would be very beneficial. We will get nice stuff for doing it, but we're still kind of at the early phases of the game where we want to explore, survey, and colonize. We don't really have the time to put a science ship and have them drill down on that archaeological site. Let's put that maybe more for the late early game or the early mid game. Okay? And beyond which, I don't think you can survey the archaeology site until you've built your outpost in the system. So we couldn't have anyone do it right now anyway. Fine. Let's let that roll. We can dismiss that. Under our situation log, you can see under the ice just popped up. So I just pointed that out because there was the little yellow dot up here. It's gone because I just clicked on it. But anytime you see the yellow dot, you can come in, you can see what the new items are. And of course, we're working on the First League artifacts recovered. Trying to learn a little bit about the lore of our galaxy that we find ourselves in. That's it. No other things going on. So we'll let the clock roll. Next month just popped around. And this is kind of a big one here. Let's jump in. Actually, hold on. Before I forget, I just realized that our construction ship is working on the research station. Okay, that's good. I just wanted to make sure they weren't sitting fallow. I noticed 2 of our constructors are. Okay. Back to traditions. So this is it, folks. Now, listen, we can finish off expansion right now, which is what we're going to do. This is our last option, is the courier network. We're going to choose it. It's going to be sweet. But at any time, anytime you've completed a tier of tradition preparedness, you're preparing the unity of your culture to dip into a new tradition, we could open up another slot. We could just grab one of these. But I don't recommend doing that. I think most players recommend working through a tree, completing it, and this is why. Okay, so first of all, we need to choose something. So it's either going to be courier network or it's going to be opening up a new tradition tree. Those are our 2 options at this point. It's not just one option. That's why I'm pointing this out. But we're going to take courier networks. This is going to give us empire size from systems minus 25%, empire size from planets minus 25%. Now, at this moment, as I've stated in the last episode, we get nothing for this because our empire size is not more than 100. So this is useless. So that is one reason why you might say, you know what, I don't need courier networks. I'm going to open up a new tradition that will benefit me right now. But here's why we don't want to do that. We're going to take this. We're going to say, yeah. Now we get 2 things for choosing this final pick, this final tradition pick. Even though it's giving us nothing right now, it's going to actually get us 2 things immediately. One is an Ascension perk unlocked. That little bizarre, monstrous, like, I don't know, it reminds me of like a demon coming through a portal. It's technologies that are indistinguishable from magic. These are big, big picks. We're going to choose one. It's going to be sweet. We'll get right to it. However, the other thing we got, and it's easy to forget about, is now that we've capped off expansion, Finisher Effect. It's the third segment down there. Adopting all expansion traditions grants. We just did that. We finished all of them. We've adopted them all. Max districts on non-artificial planets +1 and the Ascension perk. So we got an extra district unlocked on our 3 colonies there. Earth, Alpha Centauri Prime, and Sirius Prime. Each now have a new district. Meaning like a energy district, mining, farming, city, manufacturing. So we haven't built anything with them yet, but it's just the slot is there. So it's like, yeah, we can just have more housing, have more jobs, have more production. Nothing wrong with that. And in the end, you can imagine if we had 10 colonies, 20 colonies, that would be a whole planet's worth of extra districts. So that's a nice touch. But that's done. Now, Ascension perk. Ooh, these are the good ones. These are probably about, well, in the early game, this is the biggest single bonus you can get access to through a technology, through anything else, through an edict, through anything, are these Ascension perks. It's like Ascension, like lifting, lifting towards demigodhood. Okay. How many do we have access to? Again, we're playing vanilla, so there's probably some we don't have access to, but I'm seeing 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 total available. And if you look, there are only 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 possible. 8 are available with an additional 5 that are grayed out, locked. Now, I'm guessing some of these may be potentially unlocked later, or some of them may be locked behind. Well, yeah, here we can see we can't get Eternal Vigilance because we don't have Star Fortress technology yet. Grasp the Void requires another Ascension perk to be selected first. You just can't grasp the Void with your first Ascension pick, but you could grasp it on your second or thereafter. So, can we get to all of these? Defender of the Galaxy requires 3 other Ascension perks. Oh, that takes a while to defend the galaxy. Galactic Force Projection requires 2 Ascension perks, and World Shaper requires Climate Restoration and 1 other Ascension perk. There you go. So interesting. So they're not locked behind DLC, which is nice. All 13 are available to us in this playthrough. But I guess that part of that's probably a combination of theme and maybe relevance. Like, so for instance, Defender of the Galaxy helps you fighting endgame crises. Yeah, that's why it's locked behind 3 Ascension perks. It's because if you chose it right away, you would get nothing for it practically. So yeah, that's neither here nor there. Let's look at the 8 that are available. Interstellar Dominion is going to be cheaper, less star-based influence cost, and less claim influence cost. Remember, influence is one of our most rare resources, so getting a 20% reduction to the cost on our star bases would be very helpful. What are we down to right now? We're down to it was at 75 influence to claim a starbase. We got a 10% reduction, which takes us down to, dare I say, 69 or 67. Yeah, 67, I think. So another 20% off of that would take us down to 50 influence per starbase. Yeah, that's a good deal. That'd save us a lot. And think about this. We're only sitting at 100 influence right now, but we're currently in the process of investigating about 3 star systems with our 3 groups. That's, 65, 65, 65. Are we going to fall behind on our influence production? Possibly. Interstellar Dominion would help us catch up with that. So yeah, it's possible. Technology ascendancy. Interstellar Dominion is one you'd want to choose early if you're going to choose it. Just FYI, because you're colonizing in the early game, claiming star systems. So this helps with that. Period. Okay, another really good one early on is technological ascendancy. This gives us a blanket 10% research speed. Now that's not 10% research output. It's not this up here. It doesn't make our 29 physics research go to 32 physics research. It just, God, research speed. God, what does that do? I guess I don't know. Research speed doesn't increase research. What is it doing then? Oh my gosh, I'm fascinated. I see the months remaining here, but months remaining. The only thing I'm actually a little bit confused. So research speed, the only thing I could think of is that it decreases the overall cost of a technology. Now we could verify that we could choose the Ascension perk. We can't undo it, by the way. If we do it, if we lock it in, we're done. But if we choose it, would the genome mapping drop from 2100 to something less? Because the only other way you could reduce the speed, reduces speed to cut down the months, is either the total you need goes down or the total you're producing a month goes up. Those are the only two options, but it's not saying that it increases your research output. So that means what you're putting out per month doesn't go up. It must mean that this number here goes down per tier of the tech tree. That's a really weird way to say it. I would just say research costs reduced. Because again, speed is simply a matter of like how far you're going every month and how far you got to go. There's no other magical way to shave months off of this process. So it's a weird terminology, but yeah, let's jump back into our Unity. Let's jump back into Ascension perks. Does it get us anything else? Yeah, rare technologies now appear at a plus 50% times the normal rate. Rare technologies will be in a purple color. I don't think we've seen any rares yet, but when you find them, sometimes it's really worth going after them. Sometimes not. This effect would change a 1% chance into a 1.5% chance. Yeah, it's a 50% increase to the chance. The chance is small all the time of getting a rare, but it's a better chance. I am curious though as to whether it will reduce the overall base cost, if that's what they mean by speed. To me, that's a misnomer on the part of the game developers. It's just like, it's research speed. It's like, is it? It's like, no, it's base cost. Hello, it's like the same magic here, folks. Base cost, that's what you call that. One Vision is actually a pretty good early pick, and you get quite a few things for it. This is tempting. Monthly Unity plus 10%. Just boom. That's good. It's not a bad early game pick. It's not a bad mid game pick either. But it just means if we get a 10% to our Unity, that means this up here jumps from 46 to 50, 51. And we get every other technological tradition thing quicker. It just means we get other traditions quicker. It means we can have more leaders. It means we can, what else do we do with it? Edicts? Yeah, we can have more edicts. I don't care about that so much. What else do we get? Pop amenity usage minus 10%. That's useful. Especially once your empire starts getting a lot of pops. And finally, governing ethics attraction plus 50%. I think we're loaded on government ethics attraction. I think we're doing pretty good with our human UN. So listen, these are all useful. Early game, I'd say this is like an S tier for early game. I'd say technological ascendancy is an S tier for early game. One Vision, I think, is a good pick early or mid. So all three of these are really nice. Now, Mastery of Nature, this is blocker, clear blockers minus 33%. Unlocks Decision Mastery of Nature, which is a max district plus 2, max resource districts, planetary features plus 50%. Oh my. Max research districts from planetary features plus 50%. That's not bad. Now, the decisions we haven't really looked at yet. The decisions is a button under each of your colonies. You can make decisions for that planet. It's planetary level decisions. I don't recall that feature. I haven't played the game in like a year, so there's this. I think that's a new thing I'm not familiar with. But I would put Mastery of Nature at a mid-game pick, because early in the game, you don't need to worry about clearing blockers a whole lot. It doesn't hurt, but you have a lot of other stuff to do with your time, with your minerals, your energy in the early years of the game. So clearing blockers is usually something you focus on after you've got your base colonies developed. But what I'm not sure about is this unlock decisions, mastery of nature. I would like to be a master of nature. I would like to use that decision, getting 2 additional districts. Remember, up here, our expansion cap gave us 1 additional district. But this would give us 2 more, and it would increase our planetary feature research by 50%. That could be like volatile motes and crap like that. Or is it just blanket? Oh, shit, I don't know. I'm curious to know what that does. I think I do want to pick it and find out, but not right now. We don't need it now. It's not a good early game choice. It's just not. Okay, let's keep going here. Imperial Prerogative. Empire size for planets minus 50%. That's a huge detriment. It's positive. But right now we've only got 3 planets. So our empire size is still under 100. So I'm not really worried about that burden too much, folks. It's not going to hit us that bad. That is not... Ooh, although it does give us 2 extra officials, potentially. Those officials would be more your bureaucrats. That would allow you to hire more leaders to be governors that you assign to your planets. Each governor's special abilities help that planet grow faster. The planet benefits from having a governor assigned. That's not a bad one. But again, I think that's a late early game or early mid game choice. Not a good early game choice. So we don't want to pick that for our first one. We just got a couple more. Look at these last 3 here. Executive Vigor, Edicts Fund plus 100. That's not a bad early choice. We could benefit from that right now. If you recall, our Edicts Fund, I think it's just at 15. It's low. It's not much. And that's the amount of, we'll call it surplus unity, bonus unity, free unity that we have every month is our Edicts Fund. It is not deducted from our unity production up here. So it's very nice. But this is saying instead of 15, you'll have 115. That's a lot. That means we could roll out several. Instead of just 1 edict, we could probably have 3 or 4 edicts rolling at the same time for no additional cost. The trick with this is it doesn't scale well into the mid and late game. As our Unity production gets into the multiple hundreds and we're just crushing through Unity, we could run 100 Unity worth of edict and just eat it right out of our production every month. And just you can use more edict fund than you have by burning the actual Unity you're producing. Let's take a look at that real quick. It's worth looking at. We'll come back in here. Let's jump up to our government tab. We'll go to our policies and edicts right here. Our fund has grown to 20. We're spending 17 of 20. It is Unity, but that 20 is free, does not touch this in any way. However, if we select both of these, I just burned my base. It just cost me 18. No big deal. But now it's going to suck up that overflow because we're 34 over 20. We're 14 over. That's going to come off of this. And instead of 46 Unity, we're going to drop down to 32 Unity. It would be a big hit. So we don't actually want to encourage political thought. We'll turn that off. But you could see that our edict fund, instead of being 20, could be 120. And as we gain more edicts through more technologies and whatnot, we could just click them, click them, click them. So it's powerful, but it would be very useful now, but will become essentially worthless in the later game. So is it ever a good pick? Questionable. It's questionable. Definitely not what we're going to pick now. Transcendent Learning. Leader experience gain plus 25%. Scientist capacity plus 2. That's 2 more science leaders. That's nice. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that at all. We could lean into that for sure. Now, we're going to be doing... we'll be unlocking another tradition tree. Some of those tradition trees might get us more leaders as well. you can lean really hard into leaders. You could take this pick and get 2 more science leaders. Or you could take the Imperial Prerogative and get 2 official capacities, 2 official leaders. And then you could go into some of these new tradition trees up here and get additional leaders. So you can have 6 scientists at a time, 8 scientists, your whole leader pool can be larger, whatever. You can just grow it and grow it if you want to play hard into leaders. But bear in mind, each leader costs you that 2 unity upkeep cost. It's more expensive to manage them. So it's not bad. It's not bad. And then Shared Destiny, available envoys +2, subjects exempt from divided patronage +1. If you're going to play into a big diplomacy, build, and you're going to be running spies, trying to get into federations, alliances, and all that stuff, but we're not really leaning into that. So, is that a good early pick? Probably not a first pick. I could see still choosing it in the early game, but not right away, because at this point we don't need envoys because we haven't met a single Xeno yet. So definitely not something you would pick first. So a few of these are questionable. I mean, the reality is we don't need additional scientists right now. We don't need the edicts fund. We only have 2 edicts to pick, right? That cost unity. So we could just, we don't need executive vigor to activate both our edicts. We would just burn the extra 14 unity and we just have them. So these lower ones aren't that useful. Imperial Prerogative, not useful yet. Hell, these lower 4 are not useful for your first pick. I think that's unquestionable unless you have a very specific build. So that leaves to, we know Master of Nature isn't suitable. So it really is down to the top 3. Whew. What do we want, folks? We've talked about all of them. I hope no one minds. You're always going to want to choose one of these top 3 in any game as your first Ascension pick. So then it's a question of what are you leaning into? Are you trying to spread as quick as you can your territory? You would choose Interstellar Dominion. Simple. If that's what you're doing, if you're just finding as much of the galaxy and claiming it for yourself, good choice. Are you doing Technology Rush? You're going hard into technology. We're not. As the UN humans, we're not. So I think it's fair to not choose that right now. That'll be a good pick at pretty much any point in the game, but we're not doing that. We're not doing a Technology Rush. One Vision, I think we go with this. I think it'll help us get to the other traditions all the quicker. I think it'll be a decent pick through the entire game. We'll choose it. Yeah. Is it the best pick? I don't know, but I think it works for what we're doing. So yeah, there we go. We unlocked it, and we got 37 months till our next one. And we'll watch, obviously, that when we roll the month around, that should pop up to around 50-51%. And let's run the clock forward.
Anomaly found.
All right, we got an anomaly here. So this is the distress signal coming from Mayor 1's system. Herman and his ship, I can never remember what ship Herman is on. The Gagarin? Is Herman on the Gagarin? Oh, that's so interesting. I can't exactly see what ship he's assigned to right here. Yeah. All right, I'm not going to overthink it. Our initial scans have caught an irregular signal reminiscent of our own distress patterns. Fascinating. It's a routine difficulty, only 91 months. Yeah, we're not in a rush. Let's let him roll with it. So he will research it right now. We'll have that in 3 months. And is Herman on the frickin' Darwin? No, the Gagarin. Okay, Herman's on the Gagarin. There we go. They're doing their thing. We can dismiss that anomaly pick. Let's pause there. We've run forward a couple of months. Want to make sure our constructors are working. The India is working on that final mining station at Procyon. We want to make sure that... Oh, no. Shit. The Russian ship has not been surveying at Demon's Maw. I'd sent the ship there without assigning a science leader. It's no big deal. We lost a couple months, but now they are surveying the Demon's Maw. Cool. And then at Ejok, how far is she? How much does she have left to go? Almost done, actually. So Ejok will be done shortly. Okay. And shipyard, we have plenty of alloy. Let's jump into the shipyard and let's get some more corvettes built. We'll just do 2 of them. I always want to leave a little bit of surplus alloy. Listen, we're ready to get another colony ship done anytime. Anytime. But we've yet to find that next colony world. So, fleet's going to sit there. I could send the fleet out exploring, by the way. Let's do that. Listen, Earth is completely isolated behind the lines here, behind the frontier. We can just take this ship and just send her to the unknown. And she'll at least be able to... She can't survey, but she could see a planet and potentially reveal a habitable planet. So let's send her out there. We don't want to get her too far out, because if we ever had to pull it back, we would want some defense. But there's no threat right now. It's kind of questionable as the role play factor that you'd leave Earth undefended, but we got that starbase. Starbase can defend us. What do we got going on Earth? Okay, we've got jobs available. 1 entertainer, 2 clerks. Yeah, the entertainer job's a reasonable job. We get good stuff from that. But Earth isn't doing any other work right now. We don't want to build too far ahead. We have plenty of housing. We have plenty of amenities. People are quite happy, quite stable. So I don't want to build out more districts, because every district has maintenance. It takes a tax. Every building has a tax, and nor do we have any more building slots. So since we're not running out of housing or jobs, I don't think we need to do more of that. But let's jump into features. There are no blockers. Dang. So there's nothing for Earth to work on, which is okay. Let's look at our decisions. We haven't really opened this yet. So this is the decisions button. Each decision is unique to the planet you make the planetary decision on. We've only got 3 possible decisions right now, but as you get new technologies, you'll unlock other decisions options. So listen, we could discourage planetary growth, and this would just slow down population growth. Yeah, this is if you're going to hit overpopulation issues, which could make people very unhappy. We're not dealing with that. So to activate it, it would take 250 unity. We're not going to do that. Distribute luxury goods. Interesting. So this would last for 10 years, a decade. We'd distribute these luxury goods. It would cost us 400 consumer goods, which we have over 1,100. We have a lot of surplus. We could do this. What would it get us? It would give us plus 25% amenities and plus 25% immigration pool. Interesting. I would say if there were a lot of other planets out there in the galaxy that we knew of, and other Xeno worlds, we could turn that on and be like, hey folks, or if we wanted to draw populations from other Earth worlds, Terran worlds, we could do that as well. But Earth has a lot of pops. We don't need to improve immigration here. But a new colony, we could try and get people to migrate. But we don't want to do that here. And then the final one is send an artifact to the museum exhibit. That would yield bureaucratic output plus 20%. That's a pretty chunky bonus, and it would run for 10 years. But you know what we're lacking? We're lacking these relics, these artifact pieces, the little purple symbol. We haven't found any of those yet. That is essentially alien artifacts that you would find out here searching anomalies. But we don't have access to that, so I just thought I'd look at that. What about Alpha Centauri Prime? Let's just take a look real quick. They're still a little colony. They've just got their 2 population. They've got plenty of housing for the moment. They only have 1 job available, which is a clerk job. So it's not unreasonable to build out some district or building and get additional jobs that we want. Because right now, the 3rd population that shows up here is going to just become a clerk. And it's like, we don't need clerks so much. So what's a good idea for this world? Well, I would say Alpha Centauri Prime is geared up to be a mining world pretty well, only because it has more mining districts than any other type of district, or any of the 3 base districts here. Let's compare, though. Sirius Prime? Sirius Prime would be a decent farming world or an energy world, far more so than mining. So if we know that Sirius Prime will never be a mining world, it's possible that, yeah, Alpha Centauri Prime could be a decent mining world / manufacturing world. Questionable. We don't have an overabundance of minerals. But gosh, what else would be handy for us right now? There's no benefits here specifically to, say, research or any kind of technology. There's no specials on the planet. Let's check Sirius Prime. Sirius Prime has a special. It has hazardous weather. Excellent. Well, that means it's less habitable. People are less happy, but it gives you extra energy credits from jobs with max 4 generator districts. So what that's telling me is that, yeah, Sirius Prime would make an excellent, excellent energy production world. Okay. So Alpha Centauri Prime, is it the best choice I've seen for mineral production? Not really. But it would be nice to take the burden off of Earth. I'd like Earth to not have to be a farming world or an energy world or a mineral world. I would rather Earth be like a research world or a culture world, making unity. So yeah, let's push Alpha Centauri Prime in that direction. Let's give them a mining district. They'll have it 200 turns, 300 minerals, and that means the next jobs that come along, they're gonna pop into mining. Cool, gives them something to do. And I see Sirius Prime should finish colonization pretty shortly here, but we have a Lost in Space. The signal we intercepted was a distress call from a ship in orbit around Mayer 1. The ship is not giving off any heat signatures and seems to be drifting. A special report has been issued to investigate what has happened to the crew. So we investigated the anomaly for 91 days, and now we've made a project. The investigation didn't yield immediate results. It yielded more work, essentially. It's functionally what it did. So we have two options. Intriguing. Issue the special project derelict ship. Or, we don't have time for this. And then nothing happens. It just kills the event chain. We just walk away. We leave the cold ship in orbit. Who cares? Nothing happens. I don't want to do that. Since we're not in a rush to survey the system, we've got 3 survey groups going. It's not urgent that Herman gets on to other surveys. So let's have him investigate. We'll say intriguing. We'll pause the game real quick, and we will scroll into the Gagarin. When I click on the Gagarin, this little exclamation point pops up. That is our special project. Derelict ship research time, 20 days. It'll be super quick. It does require that we have a scientist there with the research ship. So let's look at 2 different things. We're going to look at the system itself. We'll go into the solar system at Mayer. And also note that the small yellow bubble has appeared right here, showing me that we have a new situation. That is the derelict ship. There you go. It has 0 of 1 scientist ship in orbit. Scientist present. Yeah, so let's jump to our view. This actually takes us into the solar system. We can see our ship here, and she's off to go survey the other planets. But we're going to say, no, don't worry about Mayer 4, Mayer 2. Hold on. Time out, Herman. We need you to go back and right-click, research the project. It's a quick project, 20 days. It'll take 1 month and travel time. So here we go. We'll run this forward. You see Herman did a little bootlegger and doing the research. That was quick. It's done. Special project completed. Look at this monstrous autopsy we're doing here. Ooh. I love the details. The little biohazard radiation badge on the sleeve here. The crew of the ship has been found dead. What is more disturbing is that they appear to have been killed by some highly advanced brain parasites, which infested them and drove them mad. Thanks to Science Officer Herman Wagner's findings, we were able to protect our own crew from being infected. Wow. Okay. We gain a lump sum society research of 269. Okay. And then if we mouse up here, yeah, right there. Our engineering research monthly is 26. So that is essentially a 10 times payout. That's how they're doing it, which is nice. It means that these little anomalies scale with the game. I think I mentioned that in the previous episode, but it's a nice touch, actually. I think it's a really good way to do it. So, hey, that's society research? Oh, no, 12 times. 12 times. There you go. Okay. And now Herman is done with that, so you got to go back to surveying, Herman. Boom. Right-click, survey system. Herman will continue. He's almost done with Mayer. A couple things just popped off. We have construction complete. So we should send the India on to Mayer to support the Gagarin. Remember, they're a build crew. They're a survey crew. So India will move on and rendezvous in the Mayor system with the Gagarin. We have completed survey at Ejok, so we'll close that off. Now, we know that immediately we want the Adriatic to build the outpost. So this is where it takes that 67 influence. No big deal. We didn't choose the option that would have gotten us that 20% reduction, which would have taken that down to, again, around 50. It would have been a big savings, that minus 20%. But I think we'll be okay because we're a good chunk of the way to the next 67 segment. By the time the Russian ship finishes, we should have what we need to build an outpost at Demon's Maw or at Mayor. So we'll more or less keep up. It's fine. So yeah, we're going to have them, the Adriatic, build the outpost. And now we need to move the Darwin onto their next system. Gosh, we could roll back to Bernard's Star. I almost wonder if we should. We've just left Bernard's Star fallow. Let's do it now while they're physically this close. I almost feel bad for leaving it for so long. Or should we just keep going? No, let's leave it. Leave Bernard's Star for now. We'll get to it. We'll get to her. Let's send the science ship on, survey the system. Yeah. There will come a point, because you're wondering, well, when will you get back to Bernard's Star? Well, there's a couple ways we could do it. When we build our 4th science group at some point, if we do, the science ship would probably be coming out of the Sol Station. We could just bump her over to Bernard's Star and do it then. Or it's very possible that we'll run into Xenos. If you look at the small galaxy here, we're going to come into the borders of other aliens eventually. We'll run out of systems to survey, and then we could take one of our survey groups and send them back to Bernard's Star. So we'll keep pushing out. We'll keep expanding our horizons for the time being. And finally, newly founded colony. That's right, the Sirius colony is completed. We'll click off of that, and let's jump in. As always, they start with our 2 population to start with, which is nice. Stability is very high at 92%. That's excellent for us. Remember, high stability gives us increased resource production from jobs, sitting at a massive 25.2% bonus to all resources from jobs, and a big chunk to additional trade value. Immigration pull sitting at a plus 16. That's awesome. Is that going to pull people from Earth? Potentially. Yeah, I could see that. How could we find that immigration pool if it's affecting this planet? Let's jump to our population tab real quick. Let's do a quick little investigation. Oh, no growth yet. We will have to, here, let's roll forward 1 month. I want to see if this updates. Right there. Boom. So at the first of the month, everything updates as far as your calculations. Here we go. We're growing humans here on Sirius Prime. Currently, it's a plus 4.8 per month. I don't know what that means. It's babies being born. That's how you build humans, right? Okay. Pop growth for the new pop. The growth of the new pop will be completed in 23 months. Not bad. So about 2 years out. And here's the base is 3 humans, just always. New life, which is a special ability we have, is a 10%, so we grow a little faster. But planet habitability is at minus 10% because of the hazardous storm. So that neutralizes. From immigration, 1.8. Yeah. And the fact that we're nomadic is an additional 15%. So in actuality, immigration pool would be sitting at a 1.5-ish. You can see immigration pool is sitting at a plus 16 here because of how stable and nice the world is. There's space available. There's amenities. It's peaceful. So how does that 16 convert? I don't exactly know, but it's leading to a 1.8 that's slightly modified by the nomadicness of humans, which is a plus 15%. So is that 16 actually a 1.6? And then you multiply it by 1.15 to represent 115%, and that's getting us to 1.8. I wish I could see the math a little more clearly, but it seems about correct. So yeah, the fact that I don't know if immigration is literally pulling populations from another world. I don't know if it's taking away or if it's just a number that is pulling people out of a magic hat. The people are being born in out of the ether, essentially. Is that what's going on? Or is that immigration, those additional 1.8 people, coming from Earth? I don't think it is. I don't think we're actually stealing people from Earth. I think we're magically pulling people out of a hat, out of the ether. But that's what nomadic does. That's what immigration pool does. It just gives you people out of a magic hat. So that's not a bad thing. I actually want to check our other colonies real quick. By the way, these tabs allow us to cycle through. Here's Earth. Here is how Earth is growing. Check this out. Earth has 0 pull from immigration. They are nomadic, but you can see from immigration is a minus 3.3. Earth is losing a significant chunk. 3.3 is a lot. Remember, the base for Earth is just 3. We're getting a plus 1.5 from all the extra pops we have, because we have 36 pops here. We have a huge pool of pops. So I spoke wrong. We're not magically pulling pops out of a hat, out of the ether. They are being bled off of Earth's very large population. Cool. There's nothing wrong with that. Earth has the people to spare. Now, Earth is still slowly growing. We can see that because of new life is adding on. But yeah, we're losing a large chunk to other planets. That's cool. Let's jump over one more colony to Alpha Centauri Prime. And we can see their immigration pool here is 1.99. Not too bad. We have a little bit of a hit from planetary habitabilities at a minus 5%. I would say that's just because this isn't Earth, right? It's close to perfect, but it's not quite perfect because it's not our homeworld humans evolved on. But yeah, they're doing really good here. Now, why is their pool from immigration, their benefit from immigration, a 1.99? Let's jump up here. Immigration pool is even higher on this world because their stability is at 95% instead of 92. You can see their immigration pool is sitting at a plus 18. So again, I don't know exactly how those numbers work out, but that probably is why this is a bit higher. So yeah, we're bleeding off 1.99 and 1.8, which gives us a grand total of 3.7? 3.8, but Earth's only losing 3.3. So maybe the difference there, maybe that hidden gap, those ethereal people are coming out of the nomadic. Maybe that multiplier is multiplying people that don't really exist. I don't know, because otherwise the numbers don't add up. The immigration pool totals for the two worlds is more than 3.3. Yeah, it's more than 3.3. So our losses plus our benefits do not equal. I'm going to guess that's because of nomadic. The 15%, 15%, 15% on all three worlds is creating them. That's a theory. I don't really know. Okay, well, we're jumping back to Ceres Prime. We're going back to the planetary summary. Yeah, we got to do something with these folks. What? What do we do here? We know that energy would be pretty good, and we don't want to have a farming world. I don't think if anything, we'd have one farming world, but I don't need it yet. I don't really want to commit to that. So I could see making this an energy world because we know they're good at energy. Yeah, what the heck? So yeah, let's make an energy district right off the bat. We'll get them going, and for now, any features? These are blockers, but they're blockers that we don't have the ability to clear. We have the energy, but we don't have the technologies to clear these out. Planetary resurfacing for that one. Planetary resurfacing. Selective defoliants. Yeah. So those are things we'll have to research at some point in the future. We're not going to do it yet. Okay. Let's run the clock. See what else is going on. Okay. Survey did complete here at the Demon's Maw. System surveyed. And we're going to have... oh, yeah. I want the Yangtze to construct the outpost, but we're not there yet. We'll have that in about 3 months. No problem. But we can move the Russian ship onto the next system. I could even send them back to Bernard Star. Am I going to keep debating that? No. Let's send them off here to survey this system, and we'll have them kind of like, here, hit Runa, yeah. And we'll run the clock forward, and we'll dismiss that alert. What's going on? Constructors there. Mayor Dissidia is the next star. Ejok, the Adriatic, just finished the outpost. Let's jump into Ejok real quick. And yeah, let's have the Adriatic go hit Ejok 1 for that big +6, then come back. So what are we saying? We're holding the control key? I can never remember. We're going to select our ship. Is it shift? Right click, build. Right click, build. Yeah, I think that works. Did we get them in the right order? Ejok 1, then Ejok 8. Yes. Okay, awesome. Pop out of here. So that's our construction alert. We'll close that off. And system surveyed. Whoa, we finished Mayor fast. Okay. No, we didn't. We've been working on Mayor for a while. So we're going to send the Gagarin. Oh my. We have 2 survey ships going there. The Darwin is going to that system there. So I don't want to. I want to select the Gagarin, who has no orders. Boom. Select her. And where do we send her? I guess up to here. And there's a pocket system right here. You can see the only way in and out is right there. Isn't that bizarre that we can't get there? So yeah, let's send Gagarin to here to survey that system. So we're spreading out quickly with our wharf navy helping us. We're opening up systems very quickly. And then, is the India working on stuff? No, she's not. So we're going to jump in. We're going to have the India work on the energy first, then the research. You always want to get your resources, your material resources before your technological resources, your research resources, in my opinion. So we right click. Oh, crap. Dang it. All right. So we're hitting a little bit of a picky here. We're hitting a little picky. Do we open up Demon's Maw first or Mayor first? I think between the 2 systems, Mayor is the better system. So we are going to have the India build the outpost base here first. There they go. And for the time being, the Yangtze is going to sit fallow with nothing to do with Demon's Maw. Because Demon's Maw just isn't that good of it. It's a cool black hole, but all it does is give us a bit of research. Nothing else going on here. It is what it is. It's not a great system, so it's going to wait. It's going to wait. We're running the clock next month, hopping around. Survey ships running out. We just found a new archaeological site. Very cool. We'll jump in here. This is a crashed ship. One of our ships analyzing the Zvox system has come across a small crashed ship on the moon of 0102. That's a cool last name. I like that. It bears no emblems or sigils we have seen before, and some samples have been brought back to be tested further, but the vessel itself is much too large and unstable to be moved. Additional analysis and testing will have to be done on site. Now, I will point out that this is a difficult difficulty 4 is hell. It's like a portal to Phobos, right? It's like Doom portal here. We'll leave it sit. We're not going to get into that archaeological project for the time being. So we will just have the Darwin continue surveying the Zvox system. We'll dismiss that. But we'll have a couple archaeological sites to dig through later on in the game, which will be a good use for our scientists. All right. We got the outpost built. Very cool. Let's jump back into the Mayor system. And yes, in fact, we will have them build the mining station and then build the research station. And we'll just check our order. Yeah, perfect. We'll run the clock. All right. We've found something. This is part of our surveying process. It B134-59C, strategic resource discovered. During our survey of this object, the UNS Darwin discovered deposits of rare crystals. These crystals have properties that make them extremely effective for focusing laser beams and they are also a critical component in most advanced electronics. In addition, many cultures treasure them as decorations and adornments. While we do not yet possess the means to extract this resource, we should seriously consider establishing control over the system for future exploitation. Okay, I'm going to pause real quick here just to take a look. We found a rare crystal deposit, but you'll notice that it's grayed out. It's not actually dark gray. It's more of a, what you can see there, it's sort of a brown color. But it has the red X saying it requires the engineering technology called rare crystal mining. So when we have the option to select rare crystal mining technology, we should probably choose it. Because that would be our first rare resource. Right now we have access to none, and we have none gathered. We're harvesting 0 of them. But we do want it. We probably will not gain access to all the rare resources on this small galaxy. It's very possible we'll never get access to all 7 of those. But we should gain access to as many as we can. So put a pin in that for now. But otherwise, they'll continue on surveying the system there. I can see that the Gagarin has moved on to Romston. And there is, in fact, a tundra world there. Not bad. I'm going to click in. Oh, they're surveying it right now. Ah, crap. Check it out. They completed the survey on this tundra world, and it's a 25% habitability for humans. That sucks. That means that it's not as bad as our other useless planet up here. What is this one? It's sitting at a 15%. Yeah, but still, that's an arid world at 15, tundra world at 25. It means it's a world we're not going to colonize. So we're not in a hurry to build the colony ship for that just yet. It's just not worth our while. Although, that being said, let's get another colony ship built. Let's go to our station. Since we know it takes a full year to generate a colony ship, 360 days, we might as well have one ready. And we could even push it out from Sol to potentially Demon's Maw just to get it positioned to travel up this way or down to the south into the west. Because there's no reason for it to sit at Sol. We could even get it out to Mayor potentially if we think it's going to be in this area. Since we have 2 science ships working this branch to the west and only 1 science ship surveying to the galactic north. Let's roll the clock forward. None of our colonies are building anything right now. We may want to jump into there. Construction complete. All right, Ejok finished their mission here. That's the Adriatic. Let's send the Adriatic on, chasing after, I believe, the Gagarin is who they were working with. So we will just move them there for now. And, of course, the India is still working on that research station. And then we'll send them on after the Darwin? Yeah. Okay. And for the time being, unfortunately, the Yangtze is just stuck there at the Demon's Maw. We're slowly building up the influence we need for our next outpost. So you can see we've definitely come up hard against a limit. I don't say a limit. I want to say an upper pressure on our influence production. Because we are researching systems faster. But in this case, we may just leave the Demon's Maw. We might not build an outpost there for the time. Just like we always skipped over Bernard Star. We have limited resources. Had we developed Bernard Star, we would be the 65 influence shy of what we needed to develop Mayor Star. Mayor system. Right? Each system that we put an outpost at means we're behind one on a system we might really want. So it's a budgetary issue, and we've got to budget carefully. Let's run the clock. And while they're running forward, we'll let it hit to the next month here. Boom. Let's jump back in. We're just going to check real quickly through our 3 colonies. They're still sitting pretty good. We don't need them to do anything else. Again, you don't want to build ahead too much because you will create a tax burden functionally. Let's skip to our next colony here. We've got our 2 jobs, 2 minor jobs. Awesome. We could even jump down here in population and we could prioritize mining, but I don't want to do that because colonist jobs are actually not that good. Ooh. Colonists help with your planetary build speed. They build amenities. They build food. Oh, that's a kind of a shitty job. I thought colonists did more for you. Oh, they do. They give you a little bit of amenities, which we have plenty of. Geez, do we pull them out right now? I don't need them producing food. Do we prioritize mining like this? So we prioritized our miners over our colonist jobs. I think that's fine. That might hit our amenities a little bit, but yeah, I think that's fine. And they deal a little bit of trade. Each miner actually produces a 0.2% trade value. I didn't realize that about miners. Is that true for farmers? Hold on. Let's scroll around to Earth. Do farmers produce trade? They do. Oh my gosh. And energy workers produce a little bit of amenity. What? No, those are clerks. I'm sorry. Here, energy workers also produce trade. So I guess every pop produces a little bit of trade because they're just naturally buying and selling goods. Very little. A clerk here produces 3.2. So a clerk's job is to produce actually a good amount of trade. So interesting functionally. And what was our other world? Sirius Prime. Jump in. Yeah, similar situation. Let's prioritize the technician job. So we pull those people out of colony and let's just run through the month. You can see there right away our amenities adjusted down. But we still have more than enough amenities, so it's not a problem. I'm going to pause the game real quick so we can deal with these couple of things. So I see the orbital speed demon here at Kang's. The system Kang is researching, which I believe is up here to the top. Caught in an orbit around TD-1-71-J is a small unknown object moving at such a high speed it beggars belief. Somehow it's been captured in orbit, but it's moving so fast it doesn't make sense. It should escape orbit, but it's not. So it's a bizarre anomaly. However, it's very challenging. In fact, it's so challenging that it would take Kang a year and a half to research it. No. Yeah, we don't need Kang to do that. We will leave it be for now. We will get to it later. Kang will continue on with the surveying of the system at Decida. So we will dismiss that. And in fact, we completed here. Yeah, the India completed their projects at Mayor system. So we will send them on to join up with the Gagarin. We'll just move them there. Or the Darwin, sorry. And Adriatic's going after the Gagarin. So we'll let them run. Those ships should leave system any moment now. Here we go. Signs of precursor activity at the Romston system. This is Herman again. There are signs of activity by an ancient precursor civilization on this inhospitable rock. Do we want to look into that? Not really. It's challenging. No, interestingly, this is a level 6 anomaly. But it would take less time. The reason for that, Herman is a level 3 scientist. Kang is a level 1 scientist dealing with a level 4 anomaly. But he gets a lot less for being a level 1 scientist. Herman gets a lot more for being a level 3. So essentially it's the anomalies difficulty rating, relative difficulty, versus the scientists. That's where you're getting these challenge numbers. So although Herman would be pretty good at researching this, a lot better than Kang with his problem, it's not worth spending functionally a year and a half. So we're going to say leave it for now. Continue on, sir, with your research. There we go. There's our constructors. Oh, so slowly moving out of the systems. My God, those are slow. All right. What do we just finish up here? Decida is done. Cool. Let's send the Russian ship on to here. I kind of see it's a diamond. Yeah, listen, there's no really official way to do this, but let's do the closest in systems first. So yeah, we'll send them on to survey here. And then when actually we could send this fleet on. I mean, listen, this fleet's not really surveying, but I would imagine they'd be able to ID a planet. Now that they're done with this, let's send the research fleet on to here. And let's queue up a couple more. Here, here, there you go. We'll send our military fleet on to those 3 systems, just looking for potential habitable planet candidates. Because we've got a colony ship in production. We want to find one. I'm actually a little frustrated we haven't found another one yet. It is what it is. I do want to point out, though, that the Zvox system is looking like a very, very beneficial system. So we're kind of asking ourselves the question, hey, we have limited influence. Are we going to build an outpost at Demon's Maw? Are we going to build an outpost at Desitta? Should we go back to Bernard's Star? They're all not that good. None of those systems are looking that good, but Zvox? Yes, look at this. Alloys, minerals, the eventual rare crystals, and 10 energy. This system stands head and shoulders above the other systems we have access to right now. Zvox is where I want to build my next outpost ship. It's only 1 system away from our borders, meaning it'll come in at the cheapest possible rate we can get a new system brought into the Empire. So, the Federation of Planets. So yeah, I'm going to save up my piggy bank of influence, and it will be reserved for Zvox. Now, I am curious. I want to click on the Darwin. How far are they? They'll have it done pretty soon. They have 4 items in the queue, so they'll have that done within less than a year. And then, yeah, Zvox will be a great find. And listen, as they research these other 0 worlds, they may find even more resources to harvest, to harness. There's 4 more chances to get more goodies out of the system. But that's why, strategically speaking, keep an eye out for really good systems. Not every system's really good. Some systems, like the Demon Maw, have almost nothing. The Demon Maw isn't good, but Zvox is. So I think right now, I think that's a good stopping point. I actually have a soccer practice to get to, so I'm going to go do that here for my Saturday afternoon. But if you watched, thank you so much for your time. As always, I hope you were able to learn something new. Geez, how is it going? I think the game's going fine. I might even turn up the speed of gameplay on our next session. Let the clock run a little bit faster. But stuff's going on. We're just growing our baby colonies. We're looking for a 4th potential colony. We're building the colony ship for that. And Zvox, I'd say, is our next really good spot to focus in on, because it's a great system with a bunch of stuff. Wow, look at that. Look at that. Asteroid belts, all sorts of cool shit. And then finally, just click up here on our Unity. We're 9 months out. We were at over 30 months, if I'm not mistaken, weren't we? We're 9 months out here from unlocking our next tradition. So we'll probably be able to hit that easily in the next game. So yeah, those will be some fun things that happen on our next session. So if you watched, thank you so much for spending your time with me. Take care.